Why, hello there, Joy.
Hi, Jen.
Are you ready to do our very first Invigorate radio chat session?
Well, sure am. I've been
Wow,
waiting for your call.
I know, right? Well,
Yeah.
this is for our new listeners. We are Invigorate Radio. We're a podcast and it's focused on spreading positivity out into the world. And we are using a platform called Anchor, and it's a free podcast hosting app that you can do from your phone. So Monday through Saturday or Monday through Friday, we haven't decided, but at least Monday through Friday, we're going to do like a chat session that we just talk about, what we've come across today and all that jazz in a very laid back conversation type of an itinerary. And then on Sundays, we're going to stream our show live on YouTube. So you'll be able to find all this information at invigorateradio.com. And that is where all of our episodes will be uploaded. And also they'll be on our YouTube channel. So that's in the future. But tonight we wanted to set off our inaugural episode, our first chat session, technically our first podcast-ish, right? It is, what day
Right.
is it today?
It's July 4th, 19 or 2018.
You're 1918.
Yeah.
2018.
I'm a little older than Jen, as you tell. Not
Yeah,
that much, though. Not 100 years or
no.
200 years.
So happy
Anyway,
birthday to the United States of America.
yes. Did you know that Independence Day was a federal holiday? And July 4th, if it falls on a Saturday, it is observed on a Friday. But July 3rd, if July 4th is on a Sunday, it is observed on Monday, July 5th.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I know it.
But
Oh,
did you
you want
know
me to
what the
repeat
top
that
day
again?
was about? Do you know what yeah, oh, you're like, if it falls on a Sunday, you celebrate it
Yeah,
on Monday.
yeah, right. If July 4th falls is on a Saturday, it is observed on Friday.
Okay,
And if July 3rd is observed, it'll be on the 4th on a Sunday.
right.
If it falls on a Sunday, it is observed on a Monday, July 5th. And
Okay.
that's something I never
That,
always wondered why.
yeah.
Yeah. And the first description of how the Independence Day would be celebrated was in a letter from John Adams to his wife Abigail on July 3rd of 1776, and that's where they came with the term Independence Day on July 4th of 1776.
That was 242 years ago.
Yes. Yeah, I get to something.
Yeah, it's
And they
crazy.
do all kinds of things like rope pulling and hot dog eating, and I
The
think they still do hot dog
luminaries.
eating today. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they still do hot dogs today because there was a man on TV on um, You Got Talent. He stuffed a whole bunch of hot dogs in his mouth. I mean, just the wiener part, but in his mouth. But
What other part of the hot dog is there? Oh,
the
you mean,
bun. Oh
I'm
Lordy,
like, what are you
oh
talking
Lordy, oh, let's keep it clean. Let's
I
keep it
know.
clean.
I was wondering. You're like just the hot dog part of the hot dog, or the what?
That's a
It's
hot
like, well,
dog.
what other
Yeah,
anatomy does a hot dog have? I wasn't aware of this.
here's the bun.
But
The
the
bun.
bun.
Eat
Um,
the whole thing and stuff it in their mouths. But go ahead.
right. Yeah, I thought it was because not a lot of people. They've said that there's actually not a lot of people that even know. They just know Fourth of July, barbecuing, firing
Right.
off fireworks, but they've
Yeah, they
completely
don't know the background. Yeah.
that it's because the leaders of the Continental Congress of the 13 American colonies voted to adopt the Declaration of Independence, which is where we broke away from the King of England to start our own country, which was the United States of America. So that's
Yeah.
why it's our birthday. We don't get cake.
Yeah.
We just shoot off fireworks and freak out dogs and such. But
Yeah, talking about fireworks, in order to protect the environment there in the wildlife in the region, the city of Aspen, Colorado has opted to swap out the usual 4th of July fireworks for drones, a drone show,
that's crazy.
synchronized drone show. That could be the future. You know
That
that, Jen?
yeah, that would be, like it's interesting. Like in my head though, I pictured them like setting the firework on the drone and then like sending the drone up in the air and then like having like synchronized drone firework shows. That would be
Can you
interesting.
see Ballerina Jones?
Yes, exactly.
Tutus.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, golly.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, I'm just kidding though.
Yes.
Any of you listeners out there, if you got some funny ideas about drones in the sky putting on a show on the 4th of July, hey, that rhymes. Let us know.
Right. And also you can let us
That would be
know
interesting.
anything that you have to add to the show just by emailing us at invigorateradio@gmail.com. And
Yeah,
we're
you know how hot it was today?
yeah.
It was so darn hot. I saw a cow out in the field giving evaporated milk.
Oh, you're such a nut. You know that is pretty warm out. It was really warm out, but I guess I missed that on my ride home.
Right. Yeah. I've kind of like hibernated in my house. I don't care what's
Yeah.
going on outside. It's too hot for me to care. I
Yeah, I
don't
can hear all the fireworks going on around, even way out in the country, I can hear them.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can too. Yeah.
nuts. But
Yeah. Tune into the rate on television and see them too.
yeah, you cheated. You looked it up on your watched the fireworks show from your laptop.
Yeah, from South Haven. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then there's some tonight too on I think it's Channel 8 or NBC or CBS. They're having a big firework thing going on if you want to sit in
Oh,
your
okay.
home and stay out of the heat and the parking and the running around and to
Yeah,
get out of parking. You know how hard it is to get all those darn parking lots.
yeah, I
About 3
agree.
sometimes to get home.
You know what else is hard?
Well,
Trying to get kids to eat broccoli. I
oh,
found that's my segue.
yeah. Good one, hon. Good.
I found a Reader's Digest article, and it had the title was 50 Interesting Facts About Practically Everything. And like the first one was about how McDonald's once made bubblegum flavored broccoli. Isn't that crazy?
Gosh, I
This
don't even
is
remember that.
no, it was in back in November of 2014. McDonald's CEO Don Thompson spoke at an event hosted by venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, and he was asked by a guest what the fast food chain was doing to get kids to eat healthier. And he pointed out that they had redesigned their milk jugs and reduced their fry sizes. But one of the things he said that their wackiest attempt was to make their menu more nutritious. They decided to design broccoli that tasted like bubble gum. I never heard of
Oh
this.
my gosh.
Yeah, he said that
They
it
coat it cheese.
what's that?
They should coat it with cheese.
I don't know what happened, but he
Yeah, the
said
bubble
it
gum,
wasn't all that.
like cheese.
Yeah, he just said it wasn't all that. He said it was not that magical. He said the CEO said that kids were confused by the taste and that the bubblegum flavored broccoli was a total failure.
It's a wonder they didn't put it in their fun meal.
I know, exactly.
Fun,
Weird.
fun, fun.
No, speaking of fun, some fungi create zombies and then control their minds. Did you know that?
No. What the heck is going on
Listen,
there?
listen to this. This is nuts. This
Yeah.
is nuts. This is out of an article from National Geographic, and it was published in May of 2011. There's a parasitic fungus that can turn ants, and at the time it was turning ants into zombies in Thailand. The fungus is a species called Ophiocordyceps, and it targets carpenter ants living high in Thailand's rainforest canopy. And it says the parasite hijacks the ant's nervous system, causing the insect to perform abnormal and oddly specific behaviors that help the fungus reproduce. So it totally like takes on the ant's body
Done.
and then controls it to further the fungus's life. Isn't that nuts? It says right here, it grosses me out, right? It says, in a new study, researchers used microscopes to peer inside the infected ants and see how this is actually taking place. The team found that the growing fungus slowly fills the ant's body and head, causing its muscles to waste away and the muscle fibers to spread apart. And then it takes 3 to 9 days for it to become completely zombified. And then the ants just go about their normal business, residing in their nest, interacting with other ants, and even feeding. And then it says, as the time goes on, the fungal part increases until the ant's behavior is no longer its own. The zombie ants die locked onto leaves. It says the new work has also found that the fungus tends to kill its ant hosts at high noon, although the exact reason for the timing still remains a mystery. So at the same time, the ant dies every time. So it's like the cycle always ends at high noon. Isn't that weird? I know.
Like movie High Noon, Meet Me in the Corral.
Yeah, it's so creepy. It says while normal ants really rarely deviated from the trail, like along the tree, the zombie ants wander aimlessly, like they suffer and they twitch and stuff. Isn't that weird?
Do they walk on their hind legs and they have their little paws up in their paws?
No, that would be so creepy. Like if they start dancing a Thriller.
Slime coming out of their mouth.
That's so weird.
Walk,
There's so many weird things out there that you don't even know about. So there, in case you didn't know, now you know that some funguses turn ants into zombies.
What would happen if they gave that fungus to a mouse or a rat?
I don't want to know. I honestly don't want to know.
Anything going creepy around the floor, like the Gremlin movie and all that, getting after your ankles. That's kind of spooky.
Yeah, I don't watch.
Yeah,
we know us. We don't watch things.
Yeah, we don't watch spooky. Yeah.
So when I came home today, I was listening. I always like to tell you weird stuff that my kids say, right? And I was listening to them brush their teeth tonight. And you know how you have like those little the wells that stick out in your front yard, like the little well pipe thingies.
Oh yeah, you don't want to hit it with.
And they were like, "What's that?" And we tell them that's where the water comes from. And then when we flush the toilet or the water's going down the drain, they ask, "Where does the water go?" And we go, "Oh, it goes into the septic tank. When you flush the toilet and stuff." Well, I heard them in there asking my husband. They're like, "So, every time we flush the toilet, it goes out in the yard and makes a septic cake."
Septic cake.
In their little kid mind, when they flush the toilet, like all that stuff in the toilet just magically turns into a septic cake and it lands out in our yard somewhere.
So funny. If you got any cute things out there, listeners, that your little grandchildren or children say, let us know, because they're out of the mouths of babes are the cutest things come.
That's what I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, we was going down the road a couple of weeks ago. I was riding with Jen and her family, and my little grandson's his parents had told him that we're a gravestone, because we went to the graveyard. And do you remember what your son said?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead and tell him. It's so cute.
He said, "Oh, look, there's a grave farm."
Grave farm.
And come to find out later, it's my daughter told us he called it a grave farm because he thought when I said graveyard, I said grave farm. So then he's just always now calls them grave farms, like we're growing graves, which I guess is kind of true.
And then I have another, and then my other grandson. This is adorable. my husband had passed, and we went into the place where you buy the headstones. And my grandson walks in with me, and they got all the demos out in the room.
Uh-huh.
And he walks in, he goes, "Wow, there's a lot of dead people in here." I just
Poor the thoughts.
to get. Did you hear what I just said?
No, I couldn't.
I'm laughing.
Oh, you
died.
died laughing. Ba-doom.
Yeah,
Lord.
but I mean, the way the children look at things, are so different. I mean, I'm sure we did the same things, but nobody kept track of it. I mean, it's kind
Exactly.
of down. So if your parents are out there, you do tend to forget as years go on because your mind has so many files in it as you get
Right.
older.
I
And
found
so,
that I've started as I've gotten older, that I just start filing people that I don't talk to anymore. Like I file their name somewhere in the back of my file cabinet. And then when I meet them again, I forget who they were, but I know them. And I'm like, it's so embarrassing, You're like, I haven't had to like interact with this person in like 15 years. And then boop, you just randomly run into them. And then they're like, oh, hey. And you're like, I don't know who you are. Like you forgot them.
yeah,
That's
like
not
on
very fun.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Seinfeld did that. He's trying to dig around, trying to find out who he was and where he knew him from. And
Yeah, it's just like that.
yeah, I'm
So,
sure we even the kids we went to school with, it's just hard sometimes to remember. And you got to find that old
right.
year. Try to say, they don't look the same. I have no idea.
No. But
I'm
before we forget, speaking of remembering, but before we forget, before we wrap up this quick chat session, you had a really cool recipe to share with our listeners, didn't you?
Yeah, it's called Easy Strawberry Rhubarb Pie. You preheat your oven at 400 degrees. Many of us have that really good. You can buy it in the stores, your rhubarb and the strawberries, and you wondered how to make a really quick one. And it calls for 1 cup of sugar and half a cup of all-purpose flour, and 1 pound of fresh rhubarb chopped, 2 pints of fresh strawberries, and make sure you wash it and chop it. The strawberries can be cut in half or in fours. Take the green off, of course. Wash good, and then put it in. And then you take a 9-inch double crust pie crust and put half, and then you save the other half for the top, and you put in 2 tablespoons of butter on top of that. So once you put all that together in a bowl, your rhubarb, your strawberry, your sugar, your flour, mix it all up, and then pour it on top of the one side of the pie crust in the pie pan. And then you put the top of the other pie crust on top, and you make little tiny holes in the front so that it can, bubble up through it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 tablespoons of butter and 1 egg yolk and then you mix that together and you put it on top, and that gives it that beautiful golden brown. And then you just sprinkle 2 tablespoons of white sugar on top, and it gives you that flaky, sugary crust.
Oh.
And then then you just bake it in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes at 400 degrees. So it's very easy to do.
Oh, awesome. That is cool.
Yeah, it's really easy.
That sounds good.
Really good.
I think of
Yeah.
a mix between the strawberry, like the sweet, when you get the really sweet ones, mixed with the little kind of the sweet and sour taste of rhbarb. It always makes kind of a nice pairing.
I even like it down if those of you that like really like a sauce. If you cook your rhubarb in and you go ahead and you put sugar, how much sugar taste you want with a little water on the stove, you can make a sauce and let it cook down to a nice thick sauce. And you put that on vanilla ice cream. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Yes. Many of us older
Sounds
people
delicious.
eat rhubarb right out of the garden because that's how we were taught. We just
Many
get
of us
hungry.
older people, I used to eat it out of the garden. Your
Did you?
garden. Yeah. We used to
Yeah.
take it out of the garden, rinse it off with the hose, and dip it in sugar.
Yeah, dip it in sugar. Yeah, that's a good old favorite. Yeah.
Yep. So I
So
think
any
that
of you that want to see that recipe, just where they can
We're
go someplace.
we're going to be firing up an Invigorate blog to kind of coincide with our podcast, so that the stuff we talk about, like our recipes and maybe crafts or whatever we want to talk about, we can just send you there. But right now, I don't know if we have enough room, because on our Anchor app they don't really give us a lot of space for show notes. So and you're doing it old school right now, you said. So you said I'm using Google Docs for my show notes, and she has like an actual piece of paper. So good luck getting that recipe from her.
I can say it very slowly.
Well,
just let us know if you want it.
Right.
Let us know if you want it, and I'll just repeat it when you have, get a chance.
No, we'll get just email and I'll get it to you. So
exactly. She'll figure it out.
She's radio@gmail.com. And we also are firing up our Instagrams. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow me at Invigorate Radio Jen, and you can follow Joy at, do you remember? Invigorate Radio Joy.
Yes, exactly.
And we're also on Twitter at Invigorate Radio.
Yes.
And you can find all of our future episodes at invigorateradio.com. And then this Sunday, so that is going to be this July 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be I'm getting Joy. She's going to be live streaming for the very first time. So wish us luck on this, and come on out and join us in our YouTube live chat when we go about our business. So that is July 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will be tweeting and all that information out from our Twitter and our Instagram. So,
and we'll be filling you in on some more information that you just probably didn't know about.
Every day.
Yes. We'll be talking about fruit flies. I know that.
I don't know if we should apologize or congratulate you. It's just going to depend on the day. Well, good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
You all have a good evening and sleep tight.
Have a good evening.
And I shall talk to you later.
You're
okay.
So silly. All right. Bye, goofball.
Bye.
Bye.